show, and once again we have Malcolm talking about blues, rock and roll, and jazz. So over to Malcolm. Welcome, Malcolm.
Hello. I'm just going to carry on talking about the people I talked about last time, actually. We were talking about Howling Wolf, and his name was Chester Burnett, his original name. And he was a really big man. He was over 6 foot. And when he finished playing the blues, they used to sit on a chair in front of the stage, and he had to just sit in the chair and play the harmonica.
Really? Do you have a harmonica? You said you played the harmonica.
Well, I do. I have
Did
one
you
at
bring
home.
it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, we don't want it at home, do we? We
No,
want
I'll
it
bring
here.
it here. I'll bring it here and
All
play
right.
it next time. Yeah. But yeah, and I mean, my introduction to the blues is a bit when I was young, and I had a first job when I was working in London. I lived in.
London's a good place to work.
Yeah, but I lived in Enfield with my parents.
Oh,
and
that's not far. It's not far away, Malcolm.
And the man that used to work with me, or was my boss, shall we say, he lived in Enfield as well, and he used to pick me up in the morning in his van, and he used to drive me all the way up to Queensway, back at Queensway, Whiteley's, and that's where we used to work, where I used to do some photography.
So you had free transport, you see?
Yeah, and he
Very good.
And he used to play the harmonica all the way in his van. And at that time, he used to drive the van when he wanted to and play the harmonica the rest of the time. It's a bit dangerous, but we went to go all the way through Hampstead, and he was playing his harmonica.
Can't do that now.
Can't do that
Can't
now.
do that
Can't
now.
do that
He'll
now.
be picked up. No.
He'll be arrested.
Yes.
But he used to, I mean, originally he was quite famous. He went to a place called Elpire Island, and the Rolling Stones were setting up there, and they wanted a singer at that time, and he actually did a interview to be the singer.
Oh.
So he might have been like Mick Jagger, the guy. You know. He was a very good harmonica player, but he wasn't with it as a kid, you know. It was a bit, it didn't look so good as Mick Jagger, really.
Oh, he's probably a bit of a nerdy.
He wasn't so thin and nice looking as Mick, you know.
Oh,
with
yeah.
all that
Sexy looking.
Yeah, with
sexy
all the action.
looking.
He wasn't sexy enough.
That's it, because that's what Mick thought.
Yeah. Anyway, when he was like playing his harmonica and stuff, he took me to work, and then the people I worked with there, they were the early kind of blues people. They were like, one guy was playing guitar and doing stuff at Orange Guitars, and he used to go in France and around playing guitar and exhibiting Orange Guitars, advertising them.
Okay.
And he took me round to his flat one night, and they had all of Fleetwood Mac down there, and they had
wow!
all the Mick Fleetwood and all the rest of them, you know. And they were all down playing blues music and stuff, and it was really interesting, you know. And they used to jam down there with us, you know.
Yeah.
And it's because I used to go to all the clubs in London. I mean, I used to go to the Marquee Club quite a lot, and I saw Muddy Waters Blues Band there. That's when I saw Muddy Waters live, when he had a big blues band playing in the Marquee.
Okay.
And his brother-in-law was Otis Spann there. He was playing piano, and Muddy Waters was playing bottleneck guitar, because that's what he's famous for, really. He started off playing a acoustic guitar, and then he got this idea with playing with the bottle, you know, making the noise with the bottle.
Okay.
And the which is quite, you know, strong.
We'll see if we can find any of those on YouTube.
Oh, there will be one on there, yeah.
And then we'll try and
yeah. He's got a very famous one that he used to play, actually, which was bottleneck. And let's have a look at my notes. And yeah, I went to the Marquee Club, and I used to see all the pop bands down there. But we used to see John Mayall down there, who was very famous. He used to play at Coots Clique. He was from Liverpool. John Mayall's Blues Breakers. He was the main English person. He's still alive. He's still playing.
Oh, okay.
And then there was a band called Keith Hartley, and he was the drummer for John Mayall, and John Mayall sacked him, and then he started his own band up, and he played at the Marquee.
Yeah.
Then we had people like Free, which was a famous band, Spirit of John Morgan, Traffic, Family.
Oh, Traffic's.
Yeah, I used to like Traffic. Yeah.
Yeah.
10 Years After was the favourite. But yeah, I used to go down there and see lots of bands, you know, playing. And the Marquee Club was in Wardle Street, and before then it was somewhere else in another street. But I used to go to all the musical events there mostly. Used to queue up outside to get in there. You know.
Yes, that was those days. They're still queuing up with the young kids, you know,
Yeah,
at the Palace, which is now Coco in
Yeah.
Camden Town. You see them there forming long queues, you
Yeah.
know, to get in and see the new bands.
Yeah, there's a man playing there next week, I think, a blues band at Coco. It's supposed to be very
Yes.
good. Yeah, there's,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're still queuing. The venues changed names, but the kids still come and queue.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, as I say, when Muddy Waters came to London, he played with the Rolling Stones. He made an album with the Rolling Stones, I think it's called London Blues. And of course he was doing most of the singing on it, and it was mostly Keith Richards and the drummer, you know, kind of, and the bass player. And yeah, Muddy Waters was very very good actually for coming along and coming over very strong with English blues people, you know. But I mean, Howling Wolf did come to London, I think, once, and but the main people that used to come over here were like Sonny Boy Williamson, and Sonny Boy Williamson was a bit of a fake actually, because the first Sonny Boy Williamson was very good, and he was like acoustic and played harmonica, and the second one's name was Rice Miller, and he wasn't Sonny Boy Williamson at all.
But he called himself that.
He called himself that. But he
Can
called
you do
himself Sonny Boy Williamson 2, he called himself.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, he calls himself
Number 2.
number 2, so...
Yeah, and he
That's
played
all
with
right.
the Yardbirds over here in London, and the Yardbirds were also originally from Eel Pie Island, from Cook's Cleek, and they used to be one of the main places to go in London, in West London, by the river. It was on the river, just a little island off the river. And there was a club there called Cook's Cleek on Eel Pie Island. And that's where my friend used to play when he used to go, the guy that played the harmonica in the van, he used to go down there. And he used to play with a guy called Cyril Davis, and they used to have like lots and lots of good music down there, early blues music down there. There was a guy called, as I say, Cyril Davis, and there was also, he was a harmonica, but they also had people playing there, like, trying to think of his name now, lost his name.
Oh, you'll get it.
Yeah, I'll get
Got
it.
lots of notes.
There's too many notes. Yeah,
Too many notes.
Yeah. The one that I used to like a lot was John Dummer's Blues Band, and they were an original blues band. And Tony McPhee, that's quite a famous guy that did lots of pop music with the Groundhogs. That was his band. He was really into blues, and the blues noise, the blues sound, the actual band sound was like good with them. John Dummer was the original blues noise, you know, the blues sound. 9 Below Zero was another one, J. Giles Band, and of course the Stones, and Dr. Feelgood, and Captain Beefheart maybe. He was not so much, his first album was blues, but then it became more just him, you know, doing his own thing.
What about the ladies? It's all about men.
Well, there was Janis Joplin, she was a lady, and she used to do blues, and she used to do things with Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Yeah.
And but there was like predominantly male, and even when you got back to the early blues, there was like only 1 or 2 real blues singers. You know, I mean the main one was called Bessie Smith, and there was like Billie Holiday with the jazz, and then there was a woman called Helen Humes.
The women were more in the jazz, weren't they?
Helen Humes used to sing kind of a humorous songs, which were a bit rude, but she was like a female singer that used to perform. And they used to have this big concert at Croydon called Fairfield Hall, Croydon, and it was the jazz and blues thing, you know, that they used to have on every year, and it was a really kind of, they used to bring all the old blues people across, like Sonny Terry and Barry McGee.
What about Aretha Franklin? Where would she be? What category?
Well, you're talking more about soul singers and more R&B, you know.
Because she does a bit of blues as well, doesn't she?
But I mean, it's almost like if you go back to someone like, think of her name again. I'm terrible with my memory.
Where you got your notes. You didn't write the lady's name in your notes, you see.
Well, yes, I know.
You only had the men.
I know, and she was the one that used to sit at the piano that kind of used to do, I've got life, I've got joy, I've got happiness, and she used to kind of, you know the one.
Yes, I know. I can't even, I've forgotten her name.
Yeah, you know the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got life.
You've got joy, you've got freedom.
Oh.
Give me my freedom. And she used to sing about lots of spiritual based things, really. I mean, this is the thing with women.
There's Odetta. There was one called Odetta.
Yeah, she had a really strong voice, a very, very,
Odetta had a very strong,
like almost like a masculine voice.
Yes.
Deep voice.
Very deep.
Yeah. No, I mean the women singers they were more based with choirs, and I mean most of the women singers come through choirs. I mean, I just bought a record by the Staples singers, and Pop Staples has died recently. He was the main guy that was there, and all of the singers on there, like Mavis Staples and all the rest of them, were his family. You know, they're actually.
Is it Nina Simone?
Nina Simone.
I was just thinking, what is the name?
Simone,
it's Nina Simone. Yes.
And everybody's Nina Simone.
Yes.
But she was kind of blues, and she played blues, and she played piano. You know.
Yeah.
And the main thing is a lot of blues people like, well, piano, you know, I mean, originally there's a big list of pianists, you know. I mean, there's Otis Spann with Muddy Waters, and there's also people like Memphis Slim. I mean, that was an early record I had with Memphis Slim, and he used to play all the different piano styles that come from all over the country and all the clubs that he used to play with. You
That's talent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pure, raw talent.
And what they did at night was that when they had a gig, shall we say, it was just an open house. People used to come in with a bottle of whatever they were going to drink, and they just used to perform, you know, and it used to be like a kind of a thing that used to go on all night, and they used to have a great time, you know.
Yeah.
Some of the people...
All night jamming.
That's right, yeah.
Yes.
And playing...